Hey there, it is Movie Review Mom. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the decision as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. The movie I'm reviewing today is called Spirited. This feel-good musical comedy is now available exclusively on Apple TV Plus. It's rated PG-13 and is 2 hours and 7 minutes long. But I thought that those minutes flew by. That's kind of a long movie. My movie review mom grade is a B plus. I actually got a real kick out of this movie, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out the things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and recommendations for other movies that are sort of similar that I think you'll also like. Ready to dive in? In a nutshell, this is a musical version, sort of Charles Dickens' story of a miserly misanthrope who is taken on a magical journey. So the things that I liked about this movie are, first of all, Ryan Reynolds. I mean, who doesn't adore Ryan Reynolds? Well, maybe those who don't like the same character he plays in every single movie. Well, now we know he can sing too. This is actually his very first musical ever, and he does a really good job. I know some people don't like Will Ferrell, but I get a kick out of him most of the time. What I love about him is he doesn't seem to take himself seriously, and he is up for any gag, any joke, or physical humor and stunts. Both Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell were each paid $20 million for being in this movie. I would have definitely done it for less. The total amount of money that they spent on just the cast and the talent alone was $75 million. That's a lot of money. This is the second adaptation of A Christmas Story, the movie A Christmas Story, that Patrick Page has been in, and he does a fantastic job. You'll also get a kick out of the celebrity cameos in the movie. This cute musical explains that the afterlife is a musical. Yay, I knew it. There's a funny shout out to Dame Judi Dench and her age. She is such a national treasure, so I laughed at that one. There are also a couple of sweet twists in the story. There's fun, energetic choreography, and the fantastic tap dancing was a fantastic bonus. The movie isn't a traditional Christmas movie, but because it features elements from the story A Christmas Carol and some holiday decor, it makes a fun addition to the movies that come out in November to get us in the mood for this magical time of year. In between the bouncy musical numbers, there is some social commentary that we should consider about the priorities in our own lives. Keep watching during the final rolling credits for a musical reprise or reprise. They debate the correct pronunciation in the movie for that very word. And speaking of the music, it's all original music. Some of it is pretty punchy and memorable, and you'll finish the movie wanting to sing them. And then others, you'll say, wait, what was that song? How did that go? So it might take a few viewings to be able to actually, be able to repeat those songs. But they're all fun and lively, and then there are a few touching moments. The ultimate test of a movie might be if you'd watch it again. And for me, for this movie, it's a yes. Some of the jokes fly by so fast and furiously, especially the lyrics in the songs. So I'm sure I missed some fun content. This is the kind of Christmas show that'll put a goofy grin on your face. We definitely need more of that. Now, let me point out some of the things that I didn't like. The first one being, not everybody is going to react to this movie the way that I did. I was totally in the mood for a fun, goofy musical. So mission accomplished. However, if you're expecting, fine theatrical productions and acting, you're probably going to be disappointed. I do get a kick out of Will Ferrell, but I readily admit that his singing is not the greatest. That being said, none of the leading singers were that great. However, they are still plenty better than how I can sing. So I can't cast stones. not all of the humor lands. And mostly it's the crude humor that is just not necessary. We don't need all of the vulgar humor. Making jokes palatable for adults who are going to watch this with their kids doesn't mean the humor has to be crude. So that really drove me nuts. There's plenty of humor if you actually use your intelligence to write funny scripts instead of just going for the potty humor and the sex jokes, is what I'm saying. So speaking of that, let me give you some tips for parents. There is some profanity and some crude jokes. We see a naked Will Ferrell in the shower from the waist up with a little tiny, cheek peek. Will Ferrell flips the bird. So some of the themes that are illustrated well in the movie are the big question: can people change? Redemption, ripples of our kindness, your choices and how they make you who you are, do a little good, and that's actually in one of the songs, the afterlife, priorities, past, present, and future, and where do you spend your time, and choices and consequences. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines so that you can get a taste for the movie, and I have them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. But I'll share just a few of them with you right now. So we see Will Ferrell, and he's working in an office, and you're not quite sure exactly what's happening at the very beginning. What kind of an office is this? Who is he? And so no big spoilers, but he sees one of his coworkers walking over and he says, "Hey, Margot, I was just avoiding you." It just is a dumb line, but it made me laugh out loud. And then Will Ferrell's character is trying to describe Ryan Reynolds' character, and he says, he's like the perfect combination of Mussolini and Seacrest. And it is the perfect combination of those two things. They travel back in time at one point, and they're in jolly old good England, and somebody says something, and Will Ferrell says, "Your accent blows." Okay, so then there's this other part where Ryan Reynolds' character is talking to somebody else. I don't want to give you spoilers, but he says, the ghost of Ramadan past goes to the Hanukkah yet to come. It's a whole thing. You're going to love it. Because there's this past, present, and future, and thinking about, the ghosts that come to visit in the movie A Christmas Carol. And then there are some serious lines, such as when Will Ferrell says, one person's kindness can have a ripple effect. And then Patrick Page plays this character Marley from A Christmas Carol, and he says he's talking to Will Ferrell, and so Marley says, "Consider the consequences," and Will Ferrell's character, the present, says, "Consider the possibilities." And I really loved that. That was such a great retort. All right, so there are some fantastic Christmas Carol movies that are similar that I think you'll really like. The first one I immediately thought of is Scrooged with Bill Murray. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out. It's super goofy and slapsticky and a comedy based on A Christmas Carol. It's a classic. So definitely check that one out. And then there is the classic A Christmas Carol itself. There are so many iterations of that movie. So pick one. They're all great. And then another movie that's totally unrelated that I thought of is called Eurovision, and it's on Netflix. It came out, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and is just hilarious. It stars Will Ferrell and his singing. And so if you really love Will Ferrell and his singing voice, you definitely need to see that movie. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for my review, for hanging in there with me to the bitter end. Hopefully my reviews help you to make decisions about which movies that you want to watch. If they are helpful to you, be sure and give it a like. And while you're at it, subscribe. I really appreciate your support. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.